We have finally arrived. You may have skipped ahead to this movie because you are so tired of listening to me banter on about logging and tracking and on and on and on. Well, I have one more little thing for you to look at before you submit that site. Okay? This will save you time, so pay attention. This is important. We are now talking about submitting our pages to search engines and directories. Do we need to submit them for $39.95 to $250,000 by paying some firm to do it for us? No. I repeat, no. Do it yourself and do it for free. Also, there's a lot of controversy out there that if you just put up your page, the spider will come by and index it. Well, that's true. The spider will come by and index your page. But this SEO, Richard Jenkins, is a firm believer in taking action. So I'm going to show you the 3 or 4 places that you can submit your site for absolutely free, and you can then sit back with your cup of coffee or your glass of wine and feel relatively assured that you're going to be indexed any day now. So let's start by revisiting the famous Bruce Clay relationship chart, the search engine chart. If you were tuning in and didn't see this in several earlier movies, pay attention. This is really important stuff. Bottom line, the bottom, the legend here tells who supplies who with what. By rolling over this little flash interactive movie, you can actually see who supplies who with what. The point of showing this yet again is we want to pay attention to the green arrow down here. Who is receiving directory results and who is also receiving primary search results, the red arrow. So just notice right now, by submitting your website or web pages to Yahoo, Yahoo is also submitting them to AltaVista and Inktomi and all the web. That's how it works. But notice that if I roll off this or I roll over to MSN, MSN doesn't submit any green arrows, any primary directory results or red results to anybody. So that's why you want to submit independently to MSN. Yahoo you want to submit to, of course, because they're going to supply other people, but because MSN is somewhat of an island, they don't really supply a whole lot to anybody else at this point. They're changing that with pay-per-click. You want to submit to them for sure. If we move up to one of the most famous directories of all time on the web, the DMOZ directory, they actually supply just about everybody of some significance with directory listings, including Google themselves, who in turn supplies it to other people. Now, notice when I roll off there, Google, of course, supplies pay-per-click, that's the yellow arrows, to a lot of partners, and it does, in fact, supply its primary search results to AOL Search, which is one of the largest search engines out there, and over to, let me get back on there correctly, over to Netscape. And you might consider Ask.com. They've dropped the Jeeves name now. It's just Ask.com. But bottom line, who do I think you should submit to? It's simply this. The DMOZ directory, you could consider the Yahoo paid directory for paid placement. And that's about it for directories. Now, I don't want to dish the thousands of other directories out there. There's zillions of them, and you can submit to them. Some charge money, some are free. So go for it. Use your own discretion. You can do that. When it comes to the search engines, who do I think you should submit to? Well, it's basically 4 or 5. Definitely Google, because they own most of the search market. For sure, Yahoo, MSN, and you can go ahead and search to Ask.com too if you want. Those are 4. I think if you submit to those 4, you're well covered. Okay? So having said that, how do you submit? Where do you submit? Well, let's start with Yahoo search engine. The reason I want to show you Yahoo first is because to get at this page called Submit Your Site, you have to be a Yahoo member. So if you're not, it's a very simple thing to do. Just go to Yahoo's homepage, sign up. Maybe you want to get a Yahoo email account with it. Maybe you don't. But regardless, you're going to have to sign up with them. And once you do, you'll have access to this submit.search.com Yahoo free request page. And you can get here after you sign up with them by typing in submit your site to Yahoo. So all you need to do is come down here and simply type in your URL right there and hit the submit button. And that's it. There's nothing more complicated to it, and you will be crawled by Yahoo over the next couple of weeks or so. You can read more information about that down here if you want. All right, next up in our lineup is, let's go over to my favorite menu. We'll run down to optimized pages, and we'll go ahead and choose Google. And Google doesn't care if you have a Google account or not. You can just go over to google.com/URL/ continue equals add URL. You should have this in your bookmarks, so don't fret. Or a quicker way of simply finding the site, if you want to just do it, is just search on Google and type in add your URL to Google, and you'll find this page rather quickly. Google's a little bit different. They want you to put in your URL and your comments. Now, by now, everybody should know that you don't just type in something like, my site rocks. That's not a good idea. Type in some key words here, okay? Santa Monica Pier Carousel, or I sell Macintoshes, or I am a kick-butt recording artist of country music, okay? I'm going a little bit overboard here, but you get the idea. Don't just type anything random in the comment box. Put some keywords in there so they can help rank you. You'll have to put in one of these codes that you can never read, and then click your add URL. How many times should you be adding your URL? Once. Okay, I repeat, once. Don't overdo it. These search engine technologies are very sophisticated, and if they see that you've clicked on this add URL 20 times, they just might say, let's get rid of these guys. All right? They're not playing fair. They're not white hat SEO, that's for sure. Let's not even go there. So don't mess this up. Submit it once. And if you don't show up in about 3 weeks to a month, well, maybe go back and resubmit. But remember, patience is a key word in SEO. All right. Now, how about MSN? Where do you do that? We'll go to favorites, and we'll jump over to MSN. You don't have to be any kind of member. Same kind of thing. If you want to go to MSN, the URL's a bit difficult. Again, you should have it in your bookmarks at the end in your exercise files folder if you signed up for all that. And if not, you can just simply go keywords on a search, submit your site to MSN search, and you should be taken here pretty easily. You type in one of these god-awful things that you can't read. I can barely read this. Put the code in, put in your URL once, and submit. Now, obviously, if you have several pages that are different URLs or HTML, then go ahead and submit all of them. That's great. Or if you really want to do something that'll save a great deal of time, send in the sitemap. All right, I repeat, go to all these search engines and send the sitemap in. And next time they crawl, they'll go through your sitemap and they'll follow all the links, and you'll probably see a heck of a lot more pages show up in your SERPs. And you can do a site operator search to double check that. All right, so we've covered all of these. I'm not actually going to go into Yahoo's directory, but you can drill down into the Yahoo site and read about what it takes to submit to the directory. My personal opinion is I'm actually against paying anybody money to be listed in a directory. I just don't think it's worth it. I think it's expensive. And in Yahoo's case, it's actually pretty confusing because there's even another layer where you're paying per clicks. And I just don't think it's ethical that you have to pay to be in the organic natural listings. And Yahoo is really one of the only companies that does that. So it's just my personal feeling about it. But if you want to guarantee being in the directory, go for paid inclusion in the Yahoo directory. But remember, it does not guarantee any ranking whatsoever.